Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today I will be watching baseball. I'll be watching high school baseball, and I will also be watching a lot of college baseball. So it's going to be a baseball kind of day. It's a little rainy around here, so I don't know who's going to be canceled and who's not. But let's talk about digital assets. The market has, as we all know, has been red the last few days, but we're starting to see a little bit of green pop up. The most interesting was Stellar was up over 17%. I've seen it up, I think it was as high as 20 something percent. And then let me see, I haven't really cruised down here to look, but anyway, nothing too crazy. Wait, there's Cardano's the one that's going crazy right now, up 24%, $1.39. In fact, one of the guys that I here in my town that I was talking to last night, he said, "You told me to buy Cardano when it was," he said, "I think it was like 3 or 4 cents." And he said now, last night it was like $1.10, I think, or 14 or whatever. But look at it now. And so anyway, I've always thought Cardano would be a good project. I just don't know. I don't know how all of when I look at this list at the top, I know what works and what doesn't work and what is a well thought out platform, and Cardano is one of them, and a lot of these are not. Okay, let's see. This was interesting news that came out yesterday. Customers, and I actually heard this. Mr. BXRP told me this before I saw this article. Customers are reporting credit card payment crashes at restaurants and stores across the United States, including Chick-fil-A, one of my favorites. So something's going on. Riz XRP sent me this December 2020 article. Wow. Trend will continue. U.S. Bank will close 400 branches by early next year as it continues to report robust digital engagement. Folks, I think that our world is completely changing as a result of the current events, and also the bringing in of this new digital era. I think gone, not completely, but they're going to be phased out. The days that you walk into a physical bank, it's going to be an app on your phone, folks. And that doesn't mean that there won't be some branches, but they're not going to have, there's no need. And I think if the current events have shown everybody anything, there's really no need for physical stores and all that. My prediction is that you're going to see a lot of commercial space across this country, but go back to being or be knocked down and turned into residential. Unless it's things like restaurants and things like that, I don't see the need for having all the office space. Short office space. There's an investment idea. I'm not a financial advisor. I wanted to show you this. Mickey B. Fresh, he put this out. He put a video out, and for those of you that don't know, this is his channel. You need to go give him a subscribe. The guy's one of those guys who is so smart that it hurts my brain when I watch his stuff. But you want in-depth explanation of the Flare network. He did a special video on Stellar XLM being added to the Flare network that you need to go watch. Okay, and this was an interesting tweet I saw. I thought this was good from this equity. Okay, I do follow this guy. The Flare Spark token is the ultimate DeFi as a global funnel for all the value liquidity across XRP, XLM, Dogecoin, Bitcoin networks to flow into the XRP ledger, Avalanche consensus, hosting DApps, including decentralized financial protocols, first Turing complete FBA EVM. So these guys are on it. Now, somebody else that is on it is this guy, Jeremy Hogan. He actually gave me a shout out in this video. I appreciate that. Now, Jeremy Hogan is the attorney who he's got this Legal Briefs channel, and you need to go give him a subscribe because he's a very smart guy, and he's an attorney, and he's doing summaries on the SEC lawsuit and with Ripple and all this. And this is another update that he did. I'm going to play you a clip from it. But first, I wanted to give you, there's one thing, one of my greatest gifts that I was given naturally is the ability to perceive situations and to sense what's going on. And let me tell you what, this guy right here is not just a smart attorney, because there's an old saying, I guess maybe it's a saying within the rap community, game recognizes game. There are people that I've met in my life that have that, some people would call it the it factor. On Star Wars they would call it the Force. But there are people that you will meet in your life, I've met several of them, there are people that have the factor, the X factor. Well, and maybe that's what, since we're talking about XRP all the time, let's call it the X factor. And what I call the X factor, there are some people that have that personality or that thing that you can't quite put your finger on, who have this ability to draw people to them. I think that this Jeremy Hogan guy is one of those people. And I'll tell you why I say that. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he's an attorney. I just think he's one of those guys that gets it. Let me show you why. There's a few reasons why, and these are things I pick up on. This right here, and I could be totally wrong. Those of you that were Seinfeld fans, which I was, I love Seinfeld. In fact, I watch Seinfeld sometimes now. One of the tricks that they did on that show, it's not really a trick, but one of the gimmicks that they had on that show is that somewhere in every episode, as I recall, Jerry Seinfeld would have a Superman action figure or a picture of Superman or something, or maybe it was just an action figure, I don't really remember, but it would be somewhere in each show. And I think, and when I saw this, I was like, I wonder if Jeremy Hogan, because I've sensed a lot in he's got this sense of humor, and this is for you young people out there listening to me, one of the greatest things that you can ever do in this life is you can be a serious person, but to be willing and almost enjoy making fun of yourself or not taking yourself so seriously. That's what this Jeremy Hogan guy that he has. He's talking about a serious topic in lawsuits and he's an attorney and all that, but he's at the same time doing it in a happy-go-lucky manner, and that is a tremendous thing to have as a person. It will draw people to you, because who wants to be around somebody who takes themselves too serious? I mean, come on. But anyway, I think this guy gets it. I think he put that thing there because he's smart enough to know that people will. He's an entertainer. This guy's an entertainer. Anyway, sorry to go off on that whole diatribe, but I'm impressed with this guy, not just because he's an attorney. I think he's smart. I think he's got a good sense of humor, and I think he doesn't take himself too serious. You can take yourself serious, but it doesn't have to be too serious. On that same note, speaking of not taking yourself too serious, I saw on somebody's video the other day I didn't realize there was one, but there was a hype button, and they were pushing the button to let you know that there was going to be some hype or something that could be perceived as hype. So what did the digital asset investor do? I went on Amazon and I ordered a hype button. So I will have a hype button that I can push right beside this. That way I can warn you right beside my microphone. That way I can warn you in the future if we do anything on here that might be perceived as hype. I'll give you like a warning. That way nobody, the crypto police cannot come after me, because I will have warned you. Okay, back to digital assets. XRP Crypto Wolf. Moneygram is struggling to find a replacement for Ripple. Moneygram's strapped for cash and is open to resuming its partnership with Ripple as soon as they prevail in its fight with the SEC. So both companies are trying to come up with some alternatives. Now, XRP Crypto Wolf again. Robinhood to plan confidential IPO filing as soon as March. Robinhood's IPO will be the biggest short in history. Now, that's his opinion. Okay, but look, these IPOs, fintech IPOs, this is going to really set off a lot, because once these fintech IPOs, that's why I keep telling you about Link2, which is in my description. It's for accredited investors to invest in private equity before these companies go public. Check it out. It's coming. This is going to be a tidal wave, and it's also going to be a tidal wave of media hype that comes along with it, thus legitimizing the space, digital assets, all of it. And you were here first. Rob Licker sent me this. U.S. drops key obstacle to global digital tax. Now, I covered yesterday that Jim Rickards article. Folks, I've said it a lot of times. Look, digital assets are a double-edged sword. It will be used for taxation and the imposition of negative interest rates. I believe that was part of the plan all along. My position has always been that, look, this is going to come. So where can we put our money where we can benefit greatly from what's coming, which will have positives and negatives. There will be positives and negatives to this thing. Okay, Crypto Dim sent me this. Now, this guy is a Bitcoin maxi. He's the Bitcoin maxi of Bitcoin maxis, and it's almost painful. It hurts me for this guy to read this to you, but I have to do it because I'm here and I'm doing a show. If you truly believe, this is Sunny Decree, if you truly believe in altcoins fundamentally, I really hope from the bottom of my heart that you lose all your money. If you are not smart enough to see what's going on in this market, you don't deserve even $1 of gains. And so this guy wants you to lose your money if you're not invested. If you're invested in anything but Bitcoin, which I think is an awful thing to say to anyone, first of all. But what's so embarrassing about this tweet is that this person has so closed their mind off to what's really going on and so closed their mind off to everything else that it's going, this guy right here, I don't even know this guy, but whoever this is, there's going to be a lot of pain coming this person's way when they realize, I mean, to close your mind off to what's going on in DeFi and all these other things, and to close your mind off to what's been going on politically is insanity. And I'm going to prove it. I'm not just going to tell you that. I want you to watch. This one's for you. XRP Bart will start here. And see, this guy started out as Bitcoin. Raoul Pal, okay? This is an ex-Goldman Sachs guy. He's no dummy. He says, someone has clued him into what's really going on over the course of the last couple of months I've watched. He says, what if the IMF creates a rival scarcity coin to Bitcoin? And he's saying this as if he's just pondering it, trying to figure it out. And he's got scenario. This is an article that I'll show you in a second. But first, I want to show you this. I tweeted this. I tweeted his tweet, and I said, he knows. His name's Raoul Pal. Okay, he's not a dummy. He's figured it out. It was never Bitcoin. The IMF and the powers that be have said it over and over for anyone who cared to listen. I'm going to show you in video and in pictures. And folks, I'm not telling you this because I don't think Bitcoin is going to go up. And I'm not telling you this because I don't think Bitcoin will be allowed to stick around and stay around as a store of value. I think it most likely will. But I am not going to, on this channel, we will not pretend that Bitcoin is all things digital assets. It is not. And all of these people that are pushing Bitcoin left and right, that aren't telling you the things that it's not, they're not being truthful with you. Here we will be truthful with you. Because watch this. Raoul Pal knows. Let me show you, and he's referencing the IMF. Let me show you what the IMF has talked about and what they have not talked about over the course of the last 2 years. First I wanted to show you from my tweet. This is the first one. Now remember, Christine Lagarde ran the IMF. Okay? These people, the IMF, and then you've got the BIS and all of these central banks, they're all in the same club. Watch what they have said about Bitcoin.
The actual validity of the transactions and the validity of the state of the ledger.
By the way, the guy on the stage is Jeremy Allaire of Circle, okay? Here's the people that are going to be in the game from the central bank and the IMF and the BIS perspective. It's going to be a handful of stable coins like Circle. Their stable coin was built on Ethereum, which is why, and since they know proof of work does not work, they are now running it through the Stellar network. Stellar and XRP, there will be stable coins built on both of them. That's why both of them have been in the game from the start. You will also, Circle's backed by Goldman Sachs. That's why he's been invited to the club. Okay, there's been one or two others mentioned, like Paxos, which is also a stable coin. I think it's somehow involved with gold or whatever. But there's only a handful that have even been in the game. The people from Stellar have been involved with the IMF, not Bitcoin. And they tell you in these videos, listen.
Actually provable with math, not an information request to a bureaucrat.
But how do you reconcile that with what Sarah was saying, which is that people actually want human beings, they want contact. If you tell them to contact math, it's not going to be good.
And there has been more fraud in the Bitcoins than in literally any other form of payments that has existed. And so it is, I mean, there is cash and then there is Bitcoins in terms of the amounts of frauds.
Yeah, but we said we're not Bitcoins here on that podium, right?
Well, I think
we're not Bitcoins here on that podium. I mean, they can't really tell you any more clearly. It's not about Bitcoin. There's other videos I've shown on this channel before. She says, not Bitcoin, and then goes on to mention Ripple and Stellar, okay? But here's another one. This is from Real XRP Boy. I want you to listen to what this guy says, and then I'll show you who he is. This is from, I think, a couple of years ago. I just wanted to show you this first part, and we'll get to the part where he says what his boss says about Bitcoin. Then I'll show you who his boss was in this.
And it's store of value. It's true that a lot of people have put money into Bitcoin, but they haven't done it really to store value. They have done it to speculate, okay? And so, so they've done it to speculate. And there was a recent survey that showed that actually 92% of the people that hold Bitcoin did it for speculative purposes, and only 8% actually did it to affect payments.
All right, so if this is not a good form of money, what is with the hype?
Well, so I think there's at least 3 stages to the hype, right? So in the beginning, it was computer geeks that were just very fascinated by the technology, which we just heard, which is really, really fascinating. Then later on, it was what we call libertarians that were very excited about the fact that you could actually have a form of money that did not involve the central bank. And then lately, it's just been people trying to earn a quick buck, or maybe they were fearful of missing out. So my boss at the Bank for International Settlement, Augustin Carr.
His boss at the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS, Augustin Carstens, and his name is Martin Beck, and his boss is Augustin Carstens. I think I'm saying that right. Listen to what his boss says about Bitcoin.
Recently gave a lecture in which he described Bitcoin as a combination between a bubble, a Ponzi scheme, and an environmental disaster.
A bubble, a Ponzi scheme, and an environmental disaster. That last one is the one that these people, there's a reason they're constantly talking about climate change and all this, and that's the reason. It's one of the many reasons, and it was never going to be Bitcoin. They've told you this over and over. Now, who are these people? Well, first of all, you need to know that the BIS, that's like the central bank of the central banks. Okay, it's like the one over the top of all the central banks, right? Now, this guy is this. That's him right there, Martin Beck, I guess is how you'd say his name. His boss is this guy that runs the BIS. Okay, so I've shown you what Christine Lagarde, who ran the IMF, said. Now I've shown you what he said his boss said about Bitcoin. Well, these are the same people that just happened to be in the room when Brad Garlinghouse went to the Swiss National Bank conference. Here you have Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. Here you have Christine Lagarde from the IMF, and there you have Augustin Carstens from the BIS. And then this is another IMF guy. They tell you right here, the director at the IMF. Okay? So look, folks, I mean, I don't know how many different ways that you can be told, watch video, see a picture. It was never Bitcoin, and they all know it. Now, but I fully appreciate Bitcoin as the first thing, the thing that is helping to bring everybody into this space. I get it, but I'm not going to go along with Bitcoin being this end all be all, and that everybody tries to pretend that it is. It is not. And in the end, history is going to prove me right, because you don't have to show me too many things and put them in front of my face before I can piece it all together. And I've been doing it for over 2 years now, and it's in your face obvious. Now let's see. I wanted to show you this, and then I'll let you go. This was an article that came out, IMF to propose ways to improve transparency of trade in SDR currency reserve. I wanted to draw your attention to this line down here. SDRs are supplemental foreign exchange reserve assets issued by the IMF, much as a central bank prints money. They can be cashed in by members in exchange for hard currency without condition to pay for vaccines, equipment, and other needs. I'm going to read that first line one more time. SDRs are supplemental foreign exchange reserve assets issued by the IMF, much as a central bank prints money. When I read that word supplemental, it reminded me of just a little clip from Chris Larson, the chairman of Ripple, in which he said this.
Yeah, so our view is that these digital assets really become supplemental to the existing family of currencies, right? So every country still needs its own, fiat currency for all kinds of reasons. I won't get into it. It's very complicated, right? And I actually think that the big four, the yen, the euro, the dollar, the RMB, they actually, I think, come stronger in this world that we're going into, partially because of digital assets.
Okay.
That these digital assets actually contribute to a world that's more interoperable, where more people around the globe can get access to these big four.
Does my son need to draw you a picture? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that we've got the video, we've got the pictures. It's all there, video, audio, pictures. It's right in front of your face.